what's up, everybody? It is another episode of the Gauntlet, I should say. NFL free agency frenzy has been crazy. We've been seeing all these crazy signings and stuff in the NFL. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about everything else that we can that we have on the lineup. Past the mic, we're going to have more sports topics, all this stuff. So I'm excited for tonight's show. I'm excited for tonight's episode, man. So let's get everybody in the house for tonight. Let's go. I've got JJ and Jay joining me. All three of our teams has been pretty active in free agency. We're going to talk about that later. But what's up, guys? How are we feeling? How are we doing tonight?
Man, doing good, dude. I actually got a bottle of white Remy Martin, man. If y'all ain't never seen this shit, it's white cognac. And it's great. Right after I get off the show, man, I'm going to crack it open. And it's actually been thunderstorming here. But I was a little late coming in because, like, my sister went to this concert. I was talking to her about it. Went to the concert out here in the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It was like Drake, OT the Mexican. Who else was there? Bun B. It was it was like 8 artists that showed up, a lot of star power, and the tickets were $112. But a friend got them for, like, at the time period when it was $112 before it was announced that Drake was coming, and then the price shot up to like $340. So they gotta steal.
Well, it's concert season because the weather is gonna be starting getting better, so there's nothing like going to a good concert, especially like
R&B singer Tank just put a post out that he got his second venue out here in DC coming up this spring. And I like Tank. And I was like, yeah, why not?
All right. There's nothing like going to
not for obvious reasons.
I went to the Dreamville concert for J. Cole and it was in North Carolina where he's from, and that everything was outdoors there, so that was like a really fun experience. But let's get started with our quote-unquote rapid fire. Even though before the show started, I was saying we have to come up with we either need to do one of two things. We either need to change the format to like a longer time, which I'm going to consider doing, or we got to just rename this something else, because this is not rapid fire. This is like a turtle trying to walk across the universe or something. I don't know. I will call it the Gauntlet Turtle. But if Grizz or anybody watching that has any names for this, please let me know in the comments, because you guys always come with the best ideas. So I'm going to start with Aaron Donald's retirement. He now announced his retirement from the NFL. Amazing career for him, obviously. But where do you guys rank him all time when it comes to the best defensive players of all time? Do you guys have him in the top 5 or the top 10, or where do you put him amongst the greatest of the great?
We're talking about out of all defenders, right? Or just
all defensive players, of all time.
He's top 10.
Okay.
He's definitely top 10. My best defender of all time is Lawrence Taylor. Second, I got Prime Time. Third, I'm gonna have to rethink this one, but no. Third, I have JJ Watt. Fourth, I'm gonna throw a little love to Darryl Green. At one point, he was the fastest man in the NFL and he played about, I think, 20 seasons. I have to look it up, but he was in for a while.
Number 5 on your list?
Just 5? Shoot. 5. 5 would probably be Ronnie Lott.
Okay. Interesting. JJ, what about you?
You talking about overall defensive player?
First, just rank like your top, if you have a top 5
so
list.
For me, I'm an NFL guy that loves it way back then. So if I think about all the NFL defenders, he's not top 10 in my opinion, but he's definitely a top 5 defensive tackle or defensive lineman. I have Reggie White, number 1. My favorite defender. I have Lawrence Taylor, number 2. I got Prime Time, number 3. And I love this guy. I have my man Ed Reed, number 4. Love everything
about Ray Lewis?
Ray did a lot for me, and I know it's tough, but the things that I just feel like Ed was a little bit just what we needed more. Was like the difference maker at the the way he did things, and to come back from to only get 8 picks in 10 games, and to have it to literally become a rule like, okay, if you're an NFL quarterback and you're coming to the league, you're not officially welcome until you get picked off by Ed Reed. And that was kind of a real thing, because every quarterback that seemed to be new playing him got picked off.
And he was, out of all defensive backs, he was Tom Brady's arch nemesis. Like number one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was definitely Peyton Manning's arch nemesis, I can tell you that.
Too. Yep.
He used to say, don't ever throw across Ed Reed's way.
No. And then number 5, and it actually is one of my favorite defensive linemen too, is Deacon Jones. So that for me is like my 5.
There's some variety of like different eras in your top 5, so I kind of like that.
You know, you guys used to know. I do, and shout out to Tom, David, RJ, and all of them. We do NFL all-time drafts, and really going back and researching, watching these guys again. Yeah, Deacon was a man. Like, that man Deacon was serious, and it's like, Reggie, I just think what Reggie did and what Reggie used to do is just insane.
Yeah. I mean, his longevity is incredible, because he was still getting all pros when he was like 37 years old, even with the Carolina Panthers.
Not baking in his comments, though.
Yeah, he said, I saw his comment about, Jay, you want to pull on the screen about Tiki Barber. I am going to get to all of that probably during the run section, but I would probably have to put Aaron Donald somewhere in the top 15-ish, maybe just outside the top 10. But there's been so many great players. I would also have Reggie number 1, Lawrence Taylor number 2. This is where it gets tough.
Yep.
I also got to give some love to Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith is great.
Oh man. Okay.
He didn't win with the Bills, obviously, but he's a great player. I would put him in my top 5. And I got a third DB in there somewhere. I kind of like the old eras as well. So like, I really want to put Night Train Lane in my conversation for my top 5. He's definitely a guy that.
Where's Doc?
He was I really want to put him there, but I can't. He wasn't the best of his era. That would be Ed Reed, as JJ said.
That's true.
But I don't even know, man. But I think that Aaron Donald had a great career, but if JJ Watt won a Super Bowl, then I would have to take his career over Aaron Donald. Just because
that's fair.
I think that as great as Aaron Donald was, I think that JJ Watt was more dominant. He just doesn't have a ring. If he had a ring, like, I think this would be a much more difficult conversation. But you know, it is what it is. We spent a lot of time on this subject, as I said. So let's move on to our sports morons of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the part of the show where we talk about the dumbest moments in the previous week of sports. Oh man, the NFL draft is coming up very soon. So it's right around the corner. John Shear, me and John Shear at the draft last year. If you know, you know. We do have some sports morons related to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna go to two, and then I'm gonna try to be quick and then bounce it around to one of you guys. First, I'm gonna put James Franklin for putting out that he, for some reason, knows that the Eagles or Howie Roseman was speaking directly to Saquon Barkley, which is quote-unquote illegal due to the NFL tampering rules. Here's what I have to say about this. First, this guy has no information. He has no information. He would not even know what's going on with Saquon just because he's his former college coach. Second of all, Do you guys think of all the GMs in the NFL, Howie Roseman is stupid enough to do something like this, like talking directly to Saquon, just to get himself in trouble and lose a draft pick? He knows how to play the game. He knows how to do the business. He was talking with the agents. So the NFL is investigating it, but I do not think they're going to find anything. But James Franklin doesn't have any place to be saying stuff. He's trying to talk like he does know something. He does not know anything. I will put money on that 100%. So he either just misinterpreted the information or he worded it very, very poorly. It's one of the two. Either way, sports moron of the week. Second, not only Tiki Barber, but speaking of Saquon, all the people from the New York Giants, media, fans, anybody that was co-signing what he said, basically saying, Saquon, you're a traitor, you're this, you're that. Saquon did not do anything except try to work it out with the Giants. He said it multiple times, I want to be a New York Giant for life. I don't know why he would want that, but that is what he wanted. And you had opportunity to make him that, and you didn't. You paid Daniel Jones all this money, which you probably could have paid Saquon and still gave Daniel Jones a contract. Because even Baker Mayfield, 3 years, $100 million. That's less than what the Giants are paying Daniel Jones. And Baker Mayfield is better. And he's definitely the guy for the Bucs going forward. So I just don't understand why Saquon is the villain in this situation. If you're the New York Giants, if you're Tiki Barber or anyone else, he tried to work it out with you. So the person you should be mad at is who's ever making the decisions in the Giants front office that didn't want to pay Saquon the money, even though he was pretty much carrying the team. But the Eagles will definitely take him. Looking forward to having him in this offense with Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts. This offense has the potential to do some really good things. So I'm excited to have Saquon, but the Giants, the fans, the media, and James Franklin are my sports moron.
Yeah, as far as that goes, first of all, in my humble opinion, I think Tiki is still a little sour that the Giants won the Super Bowl the year after he left. Second, yeah, that's a reason why only one of you twins has a ring. So there's that. They had ample opportunity to keep Saquon. They did, but they paid the wrong man the money. Now you got Drew fucking Lock coming in to compete for QB1 against the very man that you gave the money that should have went to Saquon, and then this wouldn't be no damn conversation. So I would say the whole damn organization sports moron, but I get where you're coming from. Sure. Real quick, my sports moron is anybody who thought for 1 second that, the Titans, they couldn't pay A.J. Brown at 24 years old to 4 years, $100 million, but they could pay $92 million 4 years to 30-year-old Calvin Ridley and didn't have enough fucking sense to realize it was two different goddamn GMs. What in the fuck is wrong with y'all? They fired the last guy. Ironically, after A.J. Brown torched them when he was with the Eagles. Still is with the Eagles.
That was the best thing ever.
And it's like, come on now, you know that was the last dude. I don't know how. Listen, hey, good for Calvin Ridley. I ain't gonna clown the dude for getting his money. Did I think they overpaid him? Yeah, but I ain't gonna hate on him. You know, like they want to pay me. I'm 41 years old. They want to pay me 4 years, $100 million. Cool, but
you should have paid AJ. Plain and simple.
But they could have. Exactly. They could have paid him. They could have paid AJ Brown. You saw what he did with the Eagles when he got there. The year that they went to. He's
been way better with the Eagles than he was.
Yeah. Absolutely. The thing is A.J. Brown fits better with that offense. When he was at Tennessee, he may have been wide receiver number one, but he wasn't going to put up the production that he did because the offense was centered around Derrick Henry.
Exactly.
Sorry, I don't trust Tannehill to sling the ball. I don't trust Tannehill to sling the ball 30 times a game. I just don't.
I thought he had like 13 or 1,400 yards with Tennessee.
No. He was hovering like right over 1,000. He went to Philly and he came close. He was like just under 1,500 his first year, and I think he had like 1,300 or 1,400
last year. Yeah,
I'll have to double check, but I really thought he had a pretty successful season at Tennessee before he left, which is why it was kind of such a shock because
I think it was like 1,100.
I'm pretty sure I thought because that was the year Ryan Tannehill I think threw 40 touchdowns, and I think they equal. I think like he had like 13 or 1400. I'm not sure, but I'll double check. But as far as my thing is, it is the Giants and Tiki Barber because the more you come at this man, the more it lets me know that you guys deep down know y'all messed up. Because at the end of the day, you did pay. I don't have any issue if you think you could have paid Daniel Jones, but I think if I'm thinking about it in a way, if I looked at the career Daniel Jones had at the time and Saquon had and what he could potentially have based off where he came in, it's like, okay, if I let Daniel test free agency, I don't think he's going to command as much as attention as someone like Saquon. So let me pay Saquon, do the very thing that I did to Saquon to Daniel. They didn't. And now he's there. And it's like, I remember Joy Taylor went off. Joy Taylor went off on her show with Taylor and was talking, on Speak Up. And she was just like, you're coming at his character now? You're coming at his character all because he left a football squad. This is not your wife. It's not your kid. It's not your family. This is a football team that you're cheering for, and you're getting this emotional. And a lot of reasons people always look at me like two people in Ravens Nation look at me Chris Haas and beat Brandon Dove. They always wonder why I'm so like nonchalant about moves and everything because it happens. It's the business. It's the nature of the game. And if that person wants to move on, so be it. I've done that before. 2 companies, going for what's mine. So it's like, y'all gotta chill out. Y'all tripping. Y'all are really tripping. Calm down. It's not that serious.
Feel that. So that's pretty much
Saquon going away Saquon staying was not going to fix all your problems. He is not the only thing that you need to concern yourself with.
He's not, but at the same time, you should not be coming at Saquon when he literally was telling you that he wanted to stay, and then he goes to your quote unquote rival team, and all of a sudden, he's the worst thing ever. Like, it's just kind of stupid.
Well, the thing about it is this also, it goes deeper than that because when he was trying to work it out with the Giants, you got to think, Saquon is from the Bronx. He likely grew up a Giants fan. So you got to think, hang on a second. I'm in the pros and I got drafted by the team I grew up rooting for. That don't happen very often, right? So, of course, he's trying to work it out to stay home. But just
Saquon,
like
I don't think
anybody
Saquon's from the Bronx. I think he's from PA.
He's actually from the Bronx, New York City, New York. Double check real quick.
Awkward silence. Where is he from? He was born in Copley, Pennsylvania, wherever that is.
Born there. Hang on a second. Oh no, wait.
What it says his hometown.
There is
He may have been born.
Place of
Bronx,
okay, yeah, you're right. I had it in reverse. He was born in the Bronx. He did grow up in PA.
He did not grow up there, but you know what? We spend time on that subject, but we'll go to the next topic that we have for the show: free agency frenzy. So there was so many. This is the craziest free agency that I've ever seen. All these dudes, you're just kind of like, whoa. Like, this kind of feels more like an NBA free agent. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, like, you check your phone, you're like, whoa. So, first thing I want to discuss. Kirk Cousins going to the Atlanta Falcons. Huge deal for him. Is Kirk Cousins to the Falcons, is this making Atlanta potentially playoff in the NFC?
Given the division they play in, it's very possible. And also, I think now everybody's going to finally get the answer that they've been wondering out of Atlanta is, what is Kyle Pitts' potential? Because one thing Kurt does love is his tight ends. I still have the same pretty much opinions about his trajectory in helping you win a title. So I would just keep that to a minimum. But in that division, he very well certainly can elevate them to a chance to win that division. Because out of that division, who is the best quarterback right now that he's there?
It's debatable. I kind of think it is him.
Yeah.
Yes, it is him. It's like it is him. And so, you know, it's yours for the taking.
I think now, and I know that we're talking on paper here, but I mean, considering the weapons they got, and then also at the same time, they got Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier who can help take pressure off of them. But Kirk Cousins is still a man who can sling it, and he's going to have Drake London and Kyle Pitts to throw to. So Atlanta's going to be very interesting this year. I see Carolina's made some moves. I'm still not going to get settled in on a 100% opinion until after the draft. That's just how I operate. But as far as free agency, not a bad signing at all, because we all know Ritter didn't work out. We all know Mariota didn't work out. So the Falcons had to make a move. They took a look at Tampa Bay and was like, these guys won a division 3 years in a row, and I know we can be better than them. So they went out, they signed Kirk Cousins. They felt like they were a quarterback away, at least from winning the division. Kirk does have a
defense was pretty good too.
The defense was pretty good, yeah. So I'm not sitting here saying that they're going to get with the Eagles and the, Cowboys and the
Lions
of the world, fair in the world, But
I don't know about the Cowboys being one of the top teams in the NFC.
I would agree with you.
If you look at what's going on right now, and I'm just going to interject this real quick before I give my take about Kirk. If you look at what's going on with the Cowboys right now, they have lost a bunch of guys, while other teams have added guys and gotten considerably better. So at best, you can say the Cowboys are a little bit worse than last season.
They are. On paper, they would be. Oh no. You're right. On paper, they would be.
I hate to be the one to say it, but I kind of like what Washington is doing.
No, Washington has been making some moves too, But again, and this goes for Dallas also, because I was actually thinking about this driving home from going and picking up food, because I was like, something? They lost who was their running back one in, Tony Pollard. But I said, wait a second, you know what? Let me reserve my thoughts until after the draft. They may go in there and get a fresh dude. Isaac Guerrero coming out of Louisville. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm looking at him. So I think
the Cowboys are thinking about reuniting with Ezekiel Elliott. I saw a report about that. I think they want to bring him back.
I mean, what other options do they have? They said that the Cowboys did not even contact Derrick Henry to try to find him.
No.
So he just went to the Ravens. But as far as Kirk, I will just say I don't see why they can't win the NFC South. The NFC South is the worst division in football. I think that Tampa Bay will still be pretty good, but I still think Atlanta is pretty close to on par with them. I really don't see too much of a difference. I think Atlanta has players, Tampa has players. It could go either way, but we know that the Saints and the Panthers are not going to be in the playoffs. But I guess we can move to Derrick Henry, since we were just talking about him. He went to JJ's Baltimore Ravens on I think it was a 2-year deal for Derrick Henry. So, yes, he's 30 years old, but I do think that he can bring a very good dynamic to the Ravens team. And it's going to be interesting to see how teams are going to try to defend this run with you got Derrick Henry. Is Lamar handing the ball to Derrick Henry? Is he faking it? Is he going to run? It's going to open a lot of possibilities in the Ravens offense. But JJ, what was your first reaction to the signing? How do you feel about it? Do you love it? Do you like it? Where is your head right now, Derrick Henry to the Baltimore Ravens?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be anything of like how it's going to happen between Lamar running and anything, because watching the Ravens last year, Lamar wasn't looking to run. So I think bringing Derrick Henry is Lamar is going to turn into more of a drop back passer and have my man Derrick, Keaton, and Justice run the football, because the majority of Lamar's runs last year came off scrambles. It wasn't as if they were designing runs for him 100% of the time. It was worth a scramble. But what I will say is just hopefully keeps his leg fresh. My only concern, if we get him and we get into another situation like we did last year in the AFC Championship game, what would be the point of having him if you're not going to run the football? Because it wasn't a matter of not doing well running the football when we played against the Kansas City Chiefs. We just didn't run it. So you bring him in, use him. We're a good enough team to, I think, at least get to the playoffs. Now it's a matter of just keeping healthy, keeping his legs fresh, and then continuing to rebuild that offensive line, because we lost some offensive line players. We lost a lot of guys, even though that's kind of to be expected. But getting that O-line together is going to be just as important to see how effective Derrick Henry is actually going to be in this offense. And I'm pretty sure Lamar wanted him, because we do tend to give Lamar exactly what he wants. If he asks for a player, we try to work it out. He wanted Dez, he got Dez. He wanted Odell, he got Odell. He wanted Derek, he got Derek. You know, we're trying to give him what he wants. But, you know, it's not about, I'm not looking at anything that he's going to do in the regular season. I want to see if we get to the postseason, what are we going to plan to do? Because to really win a Super Bowl, you got to be able to run the football. You got to. Every team that has won a Super Bowl in the last 5 or 6 years, their running game in the playoffs helped them win a Super Bowl.
Yep. Derrick Henry to the Ravens. I like it. I do. He's definitely with a much better quarterback. Not only that, but Derrick Henry would be an asset in the pass blocking game as well. He's going to be the one that picks up the blitz from the outside and such, and he actually is not bad at catching the pass out of the backfield as well. I'm not saying he's Austin Eckler or anything like that, but no, that backfield is going to be crazy. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, you're talking about two players who could put up 100 yards apiece on the ground, like on any given Sunday. That's just disgusting. But I'm happy for Derrick Henry, because this pressure is finally taken off of him, and he's with the team who is immediately a contender. A lot of people say, what was it, about 2-3 years ago, the Titans window kind of closed. It was open. They had made it to the AFC Championship game about 4 or 5 years ago. That was as far as they went. They had a lead in the AFC Championship game, and then Mahomes became Mahomes. That was the closest that Derrick Henry ever came to a Super Bowl. Well, in this one, I think that he's much closer. I like the signing, and in my opinion, it takes the pressure off of both. You got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry can take the pressure off of him, and then vice versa as well. I like it. It's a great move. Not only that, but JJ, didn't y'all just lose Gus Edwards to the Colts?
Mm-hmm. We lost Gus. Gus was bound to leave. We know at the end of the day, it's like you got to replace him. And I do think it's going to help. I mean, if we're trying to do the offense that we're trying to run, then you have to run the football. Because if you want to run the football and have everybody stack the box and then hit Zay or Aguilar or Mark Andrews and likely deep, then you're going to have to get Derrick Henry going, which I think is also why they brought him in. But Gus is in Indianapolis. He is. Yes. I knew. Yeah, he put a picture on his Instagram with a bus, and it said Indianapolis. He said, "Here we go." I was like, I got to admit, I miss you, but I get it.
Yeah.
Riz chimes in the comment section, says Derrick Henry finally has a quarterback that can take pressure off of him, so he doesn't have to be running to the ground like he was in Tennessee with that scrub Ryan Tannehill. And he also says the Titans window closed when they traded AJ Brown. I mean, the Titans had that one run to the AFC Championship, but like, can you really say that? Did they really have a window? Like, was there a time that you really thought, yeah, this team is gonna be able to win a Super Bowl? I don't think so, but I do agree that him being with Baltimore, he's got a better chance of win than he's ever had in his career, so it is good for him. But speaking of another running back, let's go to Saquon Barkley to the Philadelphia Eagles. I know we were talking about this during the Sports Moron segment, but one thing I want to say about this move, I never saw this move coming in a million years. I did not think that Saquon was going to end up coming here. I know there was like a lot of noise about it. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought that we would keep DeAndre Swift. We ended up not keeping DeAndre Swift. Reportedly, the Eagles offered him a deal, but it was not for the money that the Bears offered him. I think was only 3 years, $24 million. Or whatever the case would be. So when that happened, I really didn't know where direction the Eagles were going to go because they don't really pay the running back position. They paid, the last time they did in free agency was with DeMarco Murray when he came from the Cowboys. And that was a disaster. And previously, they hadn't really paid a running back since they had LaShawn McCoy. With that being said, the Eagles have also not had a running back of this talent caliber. So I think he brings a different dimension to the Eagles offense, takes pressure off of Jalen Hurts. Jalen has been banged up the last couple of years. So you need to use this guy as a security blanket. Kind of as JJ was saying with Derrick Henry. What's the point of paying this guy all this money if you're going to give him like 7 carries or 5 carries or something in a game? That's unacceptable. And that's something the Eagles have done. They did it with Miles Sanders. They did it with DeAndre Swift. They've done it with other running backs. You have to give this guy a lot of carries, take the pressure off of Jalen Hurts so he doesn't have to like use his legs all the time. Let him use his legs some of the time, not all the time, because he's been banged up the last 2 years. And we do not want Kenny Pickett getting on the field for the Eagles. We do not want it to happen. So keep Jalen healthy. Give him the ball, but him playing this offense with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert and all these players that the Eagles do have, on paper it looks really, really good. If he stays healthy, I think the Eagles are going to be a really dynamic offensive team.
I think if you... My bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, just with going back to the DeMarco Murray real fast, I'll be flat out honest. I remembered at that time period, and I hated the signing. I was like, he doesn't fit in the Chip Kelly system. Like, you see what Chip Kelly was running. DeMarco Murray was more of a bell cow back, and not only that, but he flamed out the previous year anyway. He pretty much hit his ceiling.
Well, Chip Kelly was an idiot, and he thought that it was a good idea to run DeMarco Murray from shotgun and make him run like a halfback sweep all the time.
No, he's a power eye type of back. Like, no, you don't do that to him. But anyhow, no, I like the signing, and I was gonna touch on this when we were tailing off on Saquon Barkley during Sports and Moron. But keep in mind, he tried his best to work it out with the Giants and everything, but the Giants didn't want to work it out with him. And this is what more and more Giants fans, no shade to y'all, but this is what y'all gotta realize is once a team is done with you, you don't owe that team loyalty. They're not going to sit up there and say, well, I know it didn't work out with us, but I promise never to sign to the Cowboys, Commanders, or the Steelers, or the Eagles. They don't owe you any loyalty. Why? They're not your employee anymore. At the end of the day, Saquon is a man that needs a job, So you paid the wrong guy the amount of money you did, the $180 million. Now you got to eat that up. And Drew Lock may steal his job. But going back to Saquon, I want to see the kid win. I really do. And there was actually a lot of noise because his actual preferred destination was Houston. But I think on paper, Philly is closer to a Super Bowl than Houston is. And I understand, seeing as they just went to one and such. And Saquon's pretty much in win now. So I understand the signing. I actually like it. You lose DeAndre Swift, you get Saquon Barkley. Everyone knows a full season, healthy, he's 1,000-yard back. And he, like you said, will take that pressure off of Jalen Hurts. So I'm waiting to see what he's going to do with the Eagles. I like the signing. Go ahead, JJ.
I do think Houston is a little closer than people think. But, JJ, give your thoughts.
I don't know. I think the competition is seeing Mahomes in Kansas City might have a little bit to do with the reason why I'm not going to that, which is a better chance for me to get there, rather have somebody knock off.
Oh, but, the path of least resistance.
I mean, at the end of the day, Mahomes is Mahomes. 6 straight AFC Championship games, 4 appearances, 3 Super Bowl rings, and they have retooled. I mean, it would be ironic. It would be like foolish to sit there and say it's theirs for the taking right now because they did it and their defense stayed intact. But as far as Saquon, I think it's a good move, but I think I have to see how you replace one of the most strongest, one of the most amazing centers of this era, because that is a big part of why that offensive line and why that tush push and why so much of those running backs was able to get so much traction. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I think a good reason why I think Saquon was brought in is because Saquon has been able to work when a line is being retooled or a line's not up to par because he dealt with that in New York. So it's like, as you're replacing Jason, it's going to be some growing pains, but at least we have a running back that can handle these growing pains and be able to withstand the load, because as great as DeAndre was, he isn't as strong or as big as Saquon. And I think, if you want to have Saquon and want to enforce that physicality, because let's be honest, Philadelphia wants to be a bulldozer. That was the identity of that Super Bowl team that lost to Mahomes. They bulldozed everybody. They got away from that last year. I think Saquon's a way for them to try to bring it back.
No, I think that's pretty fair. Joe Mixon going to the Houston Texans. I think this is a good move for the Texans. And as we were discussing, the path of least resistance and all that. But I think Houston is closer than people think. And I'll tell you why. This team has a quarterback that is really the truth. And we saw it last year, the way these guys play. They really believe in him. I think that the chemistry with all the guys is going to get better. They're still adding pieces. Joe Mixon comes in. I think that's a good piece for them going forward. But where are the Houston Texans at right now? And do you think that they're going to be ready to take the next step and go on like a deep postseason run next year?
I think on paper he was definitely primed for it. Again, I have to get my full opinion after the draft because there's some interesting prospects that we've been looking at. But absolutely, as far as the Joe Mixon signing, I like it. I initially said that the Bengals were making a mistake because he was still a productive back. But we lose Motor Singletary to free agency. He walked to the Giants. He signed like a 3-year, $19 million deal, 2 years, something like that. And good on him. We'll miss him. But Joe Mixon was a formidable replacement. And not only that, officially we signed his extension, 3 years, $27 million. We've been making moves as of late, but when you have $70 million in cap space, you can do that. So with that being said, I do love the move. I'm still taking into account that it is the loaded AFC because it's not just Mahomes. It's Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Now, do I think C.J. Stroud can stand out amongst them? Absolutely. So with that being said, I think that there's an MVP in his future, But with that being said, yes, I believe that they are a step closer to the Super Bowl. We just have to get past the divisional round for the first time in our franchise history. We just ran into the Ravens at the wrong. Me and JJ talked about this. We ran into the Ravens at the wrong time. It is what it is, D'Amico's going to learn from it. Will Anderson Jr. is going to learn from it. C.J. Stroud's going to learn from it and everything. And I love what the Texans are doing. But as far as the Mixon signing, absolutely love it. Now, if we can go to the draft and get another running back, or if we can get Dameon Pierce back going again, then we can still keep the running game as sharp as it was last season. Go ahead, JJ.
It's never a right time to play the Ravens. What you talking about? But anyway, back to the point. So, hey, he does everything Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary did all in one, and I don't think people really realized how much that Cincinnati offense benefited when he was going on. To be very honest with you, they could have beat us if they continued to run him when they had Joe Burrow playing. But they fell in love with letting Joe Burrow do it, and we were ready for it. But Joe Mixon brings it to them. As far as this team, it's going to be interesting seeing now that you're on the radar. We ain't worried. We're not wondering what to expect. We know what to expect now. So we know what to expect, and we know what we're going to do, and we're going to try to see how you adjust to what we are going to do. I think the more moves for Houston outside of Mixon is on the defensive side because their defense looks pretty nice as of what it seems to be developing. But as far as Joe Mixon, yeah, listen, I'm taking some bets on him this year. That's for sure. I'm taking some bets on that man for sure this year. I think I got him having a really solid year from the scrimmage. I think he has a chance to hit 2,000 yards from scrimmage because I think Houston will see that they need to run the football to get even CJ to even up. different level.
Yeah.
So.
And as far as the defense, to your point, the defense was actually a lot better than advertised. Houston ranked 11th in scoring defense. So D'Amico Ryans came in and he set up camp, and he picked up where he left off with San Francisco, which I had a feeling he was going to do. So yeah, hats off to him and Nick. Nick Caserio been the MVP of the offseason.
And San Francisco did not really replace D'Amico, and they ended up hiring Steve Wilkes.
That's true.
Now we're going to see what happens with them. But I really like the Houston team. I know everyone's going to say, like, you can't beat the Chiefs, you can't beat the Chiefs, you can't beat the Chiefs until it's proven. But when you look at all these teams in the AFC, not including the Chiefs, like the Bills or the Dolphins or the Ravens or the Bengals, etc., like, do you really think Houston is not on par with these teams? I don't think so. Like, I think that they're just as much of a chance to dethrone the Chiefs if you want to give any of these other teams. The other team I forgot to mention was the Jets. I am going to be very interested when Aaron Rodgers comes back. But the AFC is great, and the Houston Texans are one of the teams that is going to make it.
Last one.
Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited, is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And to be fair, the Steelers are not really paying him any money. The Broncos are pretty much responsible. And you know what? I know Russell Wilson has kind of been going downhill, and I haven't really been the biggest Russell Wilson guy.
Even
when he was with Seattle. But I gotta be truthful with you. I kind of like the move because going to an organization like this with Mike Tomlin as the coach, there's much more structure than there was with Denver. I think that he can have success there, and the Steelers can be a successful team. He just needs to not have a bunch of turnovers and, make bad decisions with the ball. But you run the ball, Steelers play decent on the defensive side of the ball. You get the ball to Pickens and these targets that you got over there. I think that it's a good signing for them. So I'm gonna give it like a B+. Like I kind of like this move.
It's a good signing. I'm not putting that much stock into. I may be an outlier here, okay? I'm not putting that much stock into it because is Russell Wilson on a better team than the Broncos? Absolutely. Do I think that the Steelers really moved the needle with the signing? Not really. I think they went from being 10-7 to 10-7. Now.
Yeah, I mean.
Now, what he does in the playoffs, okay, but I'm not expecting him to win 13, 14 games out of this. No. But no, Russell Wilson still has a little bit left in the tank. I think Sean Payton's
clearly better than Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, he was a way better option than Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett or even Trubisky, and we all know this. I think Sean Payton's a bit of a jerk, and he's going to regret this. But that's him. He's going to be exposed that he wasn't shit without Breeze. And it is what it is, But Wilson, I believe, will be in a better environment. I'm glad for him. I'm glad he's finally free of that soon-to-be known as toxic organization as the Denver Broncos. But did I think the Steelers' chances skyrocket with the signing? Not entirely.
No, I mean, I wouldn't even say skyrocket, but it's still a good move.
It is
for them because they improved their team and they're not really putting a lot of resources or money into it. So that's another reason that I'm giving it like such a high grade.
That probably was the best aspect about this because he was signed to a league minimum 1 year. And what was it? 12 million? No, not 12. 1.2 million.
It puts them in a position.
Denver's paying him
because Denver's paying his contract out.
It puts them in a position if they happen to make a wild card game, they have a capable enough quarterback they can believe in that can actually make a possible run. Because would you have rather had Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, or Kenny Pickett in that playoff situation, or would you have Russell Wilson, who may be older, in that situation? There, it just puts them in a position. They've swept us beforehand. They might sweep us this year. Who knows? But I will say I'm very excited to play them. I'm always excited to play the teams in this league. But at the end of the day, I don't think, knowing how this team goes, it wouldn't be uncommon if this team did get 12 or 13 wins. It honestly wouldn't be uncommon because you all basically won 10 without a really good quarterback. And TJ Watt was in and out of games. So it's not as if you were fully healthy. And then you had
got the sack title had he not gotten hurt. Go ahead.
Exactly. He would have had the sack title. So it's like, it puts him in a position. Now, will they be better than us? No. But will they be a good team? I think so.
Yeah. You know, and I know I made the, comment and everything, but I mean, as anything positive coming to end with something positive, absolutely. And again, it's not a bad team. Back-to-back 10-win seasons is nothing to sneeze at. There are a lot of teams that would love that. That would love that right now. I know a team in North Carolina that would like that right now.
James just gave credit to a team that stays here. And I'm just like, okay, there's only one reason. There's only one signing that I liked on that team. If you know me, you understand why. Bobby Wagner. That's the only person I like on this side.
B-Wags, yeah.
Well, I mean, I know Austin Eckler's like a little bit older, but I kind of like that move for them.
Who cares? Bobby Wagner's the most attractive person on their team. Who cares? Bobby Wagner's the most attractive person on their team. That's the most important thing for me.
The only thing that's important to you is Jalen Hurts grew his goatee back.
About time. Thank you. He was about to be my sports moron if he kept that. I'm trying to tell you. He was about to be my sports moron if he kept that. But yeah, I digress. Go ahead and continue about
all right, but no, that's it for free agency. We covered most of like the big notable signings, so we will definitely pay attention to the rest of the offseason and the draft and everything on this show. Now it's time for Pass the Mic, the part of the show where we have non-sports related topics. We pass the mic around and we just keep the conversation going. I'm going to kick us off because I was thinking about this today. I don't know if you guys have ever had to do jury duty, but isn't jury duty one of the most stupid, pointless fucking things that you can think of? You get a group of people to go somewhere and you judge a person and put a person on trial who doesn't know anything really about the case. You would think that the local government would be able to send people to law school or hire people who went to law school specifically to like judge all these cases instead of getting a bunch of random people to do it. So I just think jury duty is one of the stupidest things ever. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. And I can't stand it. So jury duty is. What do you guys think about jury duty?
I wish I could get on one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just would love to.
I heard they feed you pretty good. My mom
saying, and you get off for work you excused from work? Heck yes. All I think when you think about jury duty, and Jay, you know this, I just think about Regine on A Living Single and that jury duty, that whole situation. And she turned out to be right. But they were just sitting there eating good food. I hear you, James. I do.
Oh, hold on, JJ, before you continue. The Martin episode when Cole was on jury duty, he was like, yeah, I'm going to need some Chinese rice. I'm going to need some ribs. You know what? I ain't made my decision yet. Let me get some fried chicken. He was getting all the food from that jumper. Go ahead.
I'm saying, but I personally, James, I would just like to experience it, even though I know it's a drag. But it's just you have to sit through all day, and I mean, you get compensated for it. But yeah,
the only the worst horror story I've ever heard about jury duty was the OJ trial. They literally were kept prisoner from their families for 2 years. Couldn't talk about the case. Couldn't talk to their families. Couldn't do nothing. That's like the worst horror story I'd ever heard concerning jury duty. Being boxed up in that kind of hotel. 2 years, y'all, away from your family. You can't see them. You can't do nothing because they don't want you risking going and talking to them and about the case and all of that. But outside of that, if you work a job that you hate, it'll benefit you. Outside of that, it probably won't. Outside of maybe the free food, and I mean, it's not gonna pay your bills or anything for that month. But yeah, I mean, but work your loopholes though. There's certain things like for example, back when I was in the military, we were always exempt from jury duty. There's different parameters where you can be exempt, and if you find one, all you got to do is fill a card and turn it back in. Matter of fact, I got selected for one after I got out of the military. I was full time at ACU, and I got summoned, and I filled the card out. Hey, full time student. And I sent it in, and they left me alone. So, yeah, just find one. They have a bunch of parameters to where like you could be excused. Find one that applies to you and turn it in.
Nice.
Wow. Who you passing the mic to?
I'll pass it to JJ. He wants to take it.
Well, which world would you rather want to exist? Would you rather want a world exist where you can aspire to be a Pokemon trainer? Or would you rather be in a world where you can aspire to be the world's greatest duelist?
Oh, Pokemon.
I know Jay's a little over your time.
It's a hard decision, but Pokemon.
Wait, okay, short explanation. A duelist?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's basically what he's asking.
Now, mind you, with duelist, it's virtual, so the monsters do look virtual in front of you. And it's part of like a Domino City all over the world.
I don't want some guy like Merrick trying to like take my soul and put me in the Shadow Realm. I'd rather be with Brock and Misty traveling to all these cities and be safe. I don't need none of that stuff.
I know, Jay. I know I asked something that's like way over your age.
Because like Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't watch too much of it or anything. You would think that that's a little more on the action side, but it's
I got one for you.
iconic.
I got one for you, Jay. I got one for you, Jay, specifically.
Okay.
Would you want a world where Street Fighter characters existed, or would you want a world where Tekken characters existed?
Street Fighter. And I love Tekken, but I'm the biggest Street Fighter fan on the planet. Definitely Street Fighter.
Okay. But James, so that's a good one. So James,
and you know what? Let me tie it to this one because I'm gonna pick Pokemon on that last one, and here's why. There's just something iconic about Pokemon. That's not no shade toward Yu-Gi-Oh! Or anything like that. But but Pokemon, I mean, you're talking about mystical animals that come out of a plastic ball, metal ball, or whatever. They spin out, and they can do a whirlwind of things. Like this one can know strength. It could be Machoke or Machamp. This one could be Mew. This one could be like these Pokemon were so cold. They had to genetically make one up, Mewtwo, just to beat everybody. You know what I mean? So yeah, it all depends if you're a fire guy, if you're a plant guy, a water guy, and you go just according to your league. But yeah, I would pick Pokemon in that one definitely. And the reason why I would pick Street Fighter is because there's something iconic about it. Like not Jin Kazama, as popular as he is, he's not Ryu, he's not Ken. You see what I mean?
What's funny is I'm actually watching the story mode for the latest Street Fighter right now. When you have, Ken and Chun-Li is Chun-Li. You know what I'm saying? Like she is that chick. But Anna and Nina, I do love them. But I will say this: in terms of the question, it's tough because I love dueling, but I would love to have Pokemon because I would definitely, my greatest Pokemon would be dogs, Arcanine and Houndoom. And then if I wanted to, without a doubt, because my lineup, I would have Charizard and Alakazam and Blastoise. But I would love Pokemon just because I would not be working in no regular job at all. I would be sitting out here like you guys, traveling the world.
People don't have regular jobs in the Pokemon world.
Right. Imagine all of us dueling each other
did you watch when somebody was actually working?
Yo, we could be the next Elite Four. Elite 3. Yes, we could beat them.
Yeah, like, we know Dom is not elite. Nah, I love him, but I don't know, man. Like, I like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, but Pokemon is more iconic.
I would want to be more. I would like Yu-Gi-Oh, but I would love it more just because I would love to be a spectator at the the tournaments.
Do you
Like
know that? Do you know those virtual reality things like the Oculus and those things? They're making like they're making a Yu-Gi-Oh thing where it's like a virtual reality where you can play the game and you can see like the actual monsters. Pretty interesting.
That's crazy. Oh,
Not true. What do you say about Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny? What about? Okay, they were the only people that were doing work in the whole show.
No, it's just funny thing about Pokemon because Pokemon literally the first thing I think about is when that game came out. I thought that was.
He froze up, but one thing I will say though is like I have played the newer Pokemon games, like on the Switch and stuff. Mm-hmm. It does not hit like the same way.
It doesn't.
So I wish they would put like the old games on the Switch so that we could play all the old games. I have some of the games that are older, but I don't have all the ones that I used to.
Hold on. I think I might still have mine. I have my Game Boy Advance.
I think you told me you did. But we love Pokemon. But KJ, you gonna pass it on to Jay?
I sure am.
For another subject.
All right.
I sure am.
What's up?
You know I had to get on the music tip. So, all right. You're a CEO of a record label. You're starting up a CEO all-time record label. What do you got?
Pokemon.
Oh, that's the OG.
That's cool, bro.
That's the OG. That's on the original Grey tapes, man. I like that.
Fire that baby up. But I'm the CEO of a record label. What am I doing?
Okay. Out of all artists of all time, to start up this record label, sign the following: a solo rap artist, a rap group, a solo R&B artist, a R&B group, and a producer.
Damn. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. So for the producer, I'm definitely picking Dr. Dre.
Okay.
R&B group. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that one.
Well, we ain't getting Diddy, that's for sure.
R&B. All right, bro. I'm gonna have to come back to that.
JJ,
I'm gonna have to come back to that.
So the question is, I'm a CEO. I have to get a producer and an R&B group.
You have to sign like 25 people.
All right. Sign of all time: one rap artist, one rap group, one solo R&B, one R&B group, one producer.
Okay. Rap group is definitely Wu-Tang.
Okay.
Producer, I might have to go Timbaland. I've really loved a lot of Timbaland's things. I love Missy Elliott, and they work together very well. I can even put Missy. Well. My rap artist will be Missy because she's a rapper, and I know she's going to give me what I needed. Mm-hmm. But
rap artist, okay.
R&B.
Now you need R&B solo and R&B group.
R&B solo, Whitney Houston. Kidding me? Okay. I'm going to be making money. If not Whitney, then it'll be Mariah. R&B group. All right, this is where you're going to make me. This is where it's going to get me a little bit. This is one that's going to get me a little bit. Because I love oldies and I love newbies. Mm-hmm. My girls from Houston. Latavia, LaToya,
that was my
Kelly,
pick.
And Beyonce.
That was my pick.
Give me Destiny's Child, because you may have to say what you say about Beyonce, but everybody loved Destiny's Child, and Destiny's Child was pretty much my childhood. When Bugaboo came out, Bills, Writings on the Wall, literally, I know Writings on the Wall. Kobe, when he remixed with Say My Name with them, love it all. Destiny's Child has to be my R&B group, just because I love all of them. LaToya, my favorite.
That was my pick also for R&B group. I know some people may say, well, how come you wouldn't do Beyonce for R&B solo? Why? When you can sign the whole group, you still got Beyonce, right? So there you go. Rap artist, Tupac Shakur. That was mine. Rap group, Bone Thugs and Harmony, the most talented one. Wu-Tang, definitely love the pick. Me personally, I feel they're more talented because Bone Thugs could sing also. You could probably interchange R&B group and rap with Bone Thugs.
What you gonna do? And ain't nowhere to run when judgment
R&B solo, you know what? I'm gonna run with Genuine on this one. We talking about a dude that could dance, slide across that stage.
My first crush.
All the women will be throwing their panties at him. That's gonna bring a lot of money into that label. So Genuine, R&B group Destiny Child, and of course producer Dr. Dre. All right, James, it's on you.
All right. Now that I've had time to rethink this, I'm still gonna put Dr. Dre as my producer. For my group, I'm gonna pick the NWA.
Oh, good one.
For my rapper, I'm gonna pick Nas for my rapper.
I knew that.
R&B group, I'm gonna pick Kool in the Gang.
Oh,
get down on it.
Okay,
get down on it.
I like that. I like that.
I'm not mad at it.
You really don't want to dance by standing
That's
on the wall.
That's a great all-time song. And I think I'm gonna pick Aretha Franklin
for a solo artist. Okay,
yep.
Good deal.
She the type of chick that would make me bust out a song and sing her lyrics right off the bat. Good choice, James. Good choice.
Soul.
Absolutely. Well,
and to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. You got a chick that didn't like other chicks either, so she's gonna take the spotlight for herself. Ask Dionne Warwick about her, or ask Donna Summer. She did not like other chicks taking her throne or being around her. And she actually endorsed one chick. One chick. She endorsed Whitney.
Well, that says a lot about Whitney.
Oh, Whitney.
How great she really was.
Of course.
Jake always got the best, like, these music topics that
he does, bro. He always has music topics that really make you think. You can just say, like, oh, who's the best artist for, like, blah blah blah, but, like, this shit really made me think. But
yeah, because everybody, Chris Rock once said, the age you was whenever you lost your virginity, whatever music was popular at the time, you're gonna be a fan of that music forever, right? And then of course, you think throughout time, and if you listen to older stuff and then some of today's stuff as well, it's like, well, all right, I know what I grew up on, and I know what's hot today and in between. So if you had an all-time list, and this is one of those where there's no wrong answer. Unless you say Soulja Boy is lyrically better than Nas, then I'm going to question your whole humanity. But everybody's got the reason why, okay, JoJo had his reason for picking Wu-Tang. I had my reason for picking Bone. And James had his reason for picking NWA. They're not wrong answers. They're all three legendary groups. The Kool in the Gang one was out of nowhere. I ain't going to lie. I ain't see that one coming. I ain't see that one coming.
They have a lot
Get your back up off the wall.
You can't really go against it.
You really can't. Every cookout, every party better have it.
You know how in the NFL when they start playing songs before they go to commercial break?
Yeah.
There was a game where I think it was the last game of the season between the Colts and the Texans. CJ Stroud threw a touchdown pass and they started playing that song, and then it was just like CJ going like this with the bow and arrow, and they said, "Get down on it." Get down on it. Like that was just so awesome, man.
That's the cookout, man. That's the cookout, bro. That is the cookout. That's the one you have to dance to that song. You have to.
It is.
That's why he said, "Get your back up off the wall, bro." What you mean? Oh my.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for us tonight. We had a great time on this episode. Looking forward to seeing you guys back next week. Tune in and check out all the other shows with the Sideline Sports Network, and check out all our articles and all the cool stuff that we have on SidelineSportsNet.com. We will see you guys next Friday.
Peace out.